Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email me at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Launched for 2021, this is the IWC Big Pilot's Watch Perpetual Calendar Top Gun Edition Mojave Desert. It's a big name for a big watch, and it has a lot of features packed into its 46.5 millimeter desert beige ceramic case. So the watch is a combination of ceramic and titanium. It's 46.5 millimeters in diameter. It is 15.8 millimeters thick. It's 58.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. I'll throw it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and the first thing you can see is that the watch is too big for me. You need a wrist of at least 18 centimeters circumference, in my estimation, to wear this. Lug to lug, the ceramic case is even a bit bigger than the standard Big Pilot, so you want that 18 centimeter circumference or larger wrist. That said, being mostly sapphire, titanium, and ceramic, it's very light. Let's take one quick look at the cuff shot so you get a sense of how thick it is. It's probably too thick for most sleeves. And then over the top, you can just see how it's overlapping both edges of my wrist. Taking a quick look at the strap, it's an interesting and unconventional combination for IWC. They have the beige vulcanized rubber, but then it's matched with a sand beige Mojave Desert inspired textile. So it's textile and nicely woven with a handsome pattern. Monotone stitch. It is thick, so it's not going to tear. There's a gusset that's blended in so you won't gouge the textile. And then you can see there's a little bit of a pattern on the bottom to aggress against the wrist and hold it steady. It is a tapered strap. And of course, we have a media blasted titanium single fold deployant clasp, so you won't accidentally drop the watch while donning it or removing it at bedside. The case is entirely media blasted. You can see it's ceramic, which has two advantages. One, very light. Two, almost completely impervious to scratches, as it's about 1,500 Vickers. It's very, very resistant to scratches. In fact, what often looks to be a scratch on the case is often the material that touched it getting worn off onto the watch, rather than the watch getting gouged. In general, when you see a scratch on this watch, you can remove it with a pencil eraser. We have an enormous crown that by itself is over 10 millimeters in diameter and sharply knurled, handsome and evocative of the vintage beige. Of course, the modern-day Big Pilot's watch was launched as the 5002 back in 2002, and that watch is an important piece because it represented the first modern-day resurrection of the 1940s Luftwaffe Beobachtungs, or the observation watch, abbreviated BR. That revival, 46 millimeters, was actually considerably smaller than the 55 millimeter original, but it was the style that proved so influential. As you will find a million different BR tributes from many brands, IWC was one of the producers of the original in the 40s, which gives this watch and all of the Big Pilot's watches a legitimacy not conferred on the emulators. Now you can see that the case features a few distinctly 1940s inspired features, such as the crown and then the blended lugs. And then we've got this stepped in bezel that necks back a little bit from the case to pair the visual mass. The dial is a subdued desert dark beige. We've got beige and dark beige, and then you can see the watch is loomed, and it uses a sort of beige loom that I don't believe is intended to emulate patina here. I don't think this is faux tina so much as just intended to match the color of the dial and the case. You can see it is quite well loomed, no issues there. It's a Big Pilot's Watch Perpetual Calendar, so it combines the Big Pilot's Watch 7-day automatic base with the IWC Kurt Klaus mechanically programmed Perpetual Calendar system. So you can see the watch includes a stop seconds function. I pull the crown out, I stop the constant seconds, but it's also got a quick set. I pull the crown out to its intermediate position. Now I turn it counterclockwise. Watch the date. In fact, watch the date, the double hemisphere moon phase. You can see I have both north and south. Watch the date, the moon phase, the day, all of that. As I adjust, everything steps in sync. It's mechanically programmed until the year 2100, and it will even step the year and the decade. So all you have to do is set the correct date. It's as simple as setting a Rolex Datejust, and this watch will figure everything else out for you, including the moon phase. So you never need to look up a moon table when setting your watch. The watch does have that instrument style of the Beobachtungsuhr. It does look like the observation watch. It has the look of an analog instrument from a 20th century aircraft flight deck. Turn it all over, by the way. You can see we have a couple of coaxial indicators. We've got a single indicator for the month down at the bottom, but then we've got a coaxial indicator for the day of the week and the constant seconds. Then we've got another one for the 7-day power reserve indicator and the date. Turn it all over. With caliber 52615, which is the latest version of a movement that originally launched back in 2000 as the reference 5000. So now we get a twin mainspring barrel for the 168-hour power reserve. The twin barrel means that you don't have the issues of the old one-barrel 7-day IWC movements. Those would tend to run very fast when fully wound, up to 20 seconds a day, or they'd run very slow when largely discharged to get a more even torque release with two barrels, and they skeletonized the barrel bridge so you can more easily see it. Another big change that came with the 52000 series was the upgrade of the beat rate. It is now 28,800 vibrations per hour, but we still get 5-position adjustment chronometer style with a handmade Breguet over coil hairspring and a free sprung balance for greater toughness and shock resistance. The IWC Albert Peloton bidirectional pawl-based winding system is now made of ceramic, both the pawls and the pawl wheels, so there's no longer any danger of it creating a dirt on the movement situation. That was previously one of the problems with these Peloton systems. With double ceramic pawl and wheel, you don't have that problem. The movement's a combination of manual and hand finishing, which is to say equal to its price and approximately the equivalent of what you'd find on, say, an AP watch, Audemars Piguet. There's a little rose gold medallion inside the rotor with the Probus Scafusia motto, a good solid watch made in Schaffhausen, that's what that means, and of course IWC out of Schaffhausen, Switzerland, one of the few German-Swiss watch manufacturers, and they are a full manufacturer. We have a screw-down crown, a 60-meter water resistance, and then what they call decompression protection. So if you are in an aircraft cabin that explosively decompresses, with this watch, you don't have to worry. It won't eject the seals, it won't eject its sapphires on either side. You have that level of protection. Theoretical, very, but it's there. And because this is a water-resistant rubber and textile strap, a screw-down crown with 60 meters of water resistance means this is a surface swimmable watch, giving it extra versatility. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.